Hello and welcome to the Daily Royal. My name is Shelby and I have been a royal watcher for the past 10 years. In this podcast, I talk about the daily events of 7 of the European monarchies. So I talk about Belgium, the UK, Denmark, the Netherlands, Norway, Spain, and Sweden. I upload Monday through Friday with occasional bonus episodes here and there. Today, we are going to be talking about all of the events from Thursday, November 4th of 2021. We have officially made it through the week, which is super duper exciting. Today was middle of the road. I'm not going to say it was like super busy, but we do have quite a bit to talk about. So Belgian royal family, still on vacation. Swedish royal family, still on vacation, which is totally fine. It's probably like a half term for those two countries right now. No big deal. So that is a little bit there. So I will do today's episode, obviously, since I'm recording it right now. And then I will take the weekend and I will be back, recording on Sunday, posting on Monday over Friday, Saturday, and Sunday events. So that is coming up. Friday, ironically, is like maybe a busier day, but maybe not. We'll see. So that is the update there. So with that, we are going to jump right in with the British royal family. The United Kingdom. Today, it was day 4 of COP26, so the Prince of Wales is still in Glasgow, taking part in various different meetings. So today, he was, again, off-site of COP26, but at, like, the side events going on at Kellingrove, I think, Art Museum, I think is the name of it, Kellingrove. I could be a little bit wrong on that name. So today he had several different meetings, mostly with climate activists. So he met with Indigenous people. So the Clarence House described it, their social media described it as Indigenous people, but then I saw like the Daily Mail refer to it as Native Americans. I am not sure which is correct. I mean, both can be correct at the same time. So I don't know if they were indigenous to the Americas or if they are indigenous to another land. But anyway, indigenous people, where he was talking about climate change and the impact that this is having on indigenous people. So, which is obviously different than, because they don't put this stuff into the world. They historically have taken really good care of their land, and white European American people, now American people, have destroyed it. It's mostly on us. Developing nations have destroyed this. Okay, so that was the first thing he did, and then he visited the Terra Carta Design Lab, which is part of the Sustainable Markets Initiative, that highlights the need for collaboration of art, science, design, and engineering, and is hosted by the Royal College of Art in London. I'm going to go on like an Apple fangirl moment. So Sir Johnny Ive, who used to be the chief design officer at Apple, so he was like responsible for designing the MacBooks and the iPhones, and like that was primarily him first. I first was introduced to him by just him saying aluminium, which I understand is how you say aluminum in the UK with like in proper English. We say aluminum here in the States because we're awful. No, I don't know. But he is amazing. He is one of my favorites ever, like just favorite people. And so that was really, really exciting. Charles also met with Brazilian and Ugandan climate activists, the Prime Minister of Fiji, He held a roundtable with private companies in Canada to talk about climate action and capitalism and like moving towards better practices. And then in the evening, so like literally 10 minutes ago, I would say, the Clarence House social media sent out the tweet that he had been, he hosted a reception for some of the chief negotiators of COP. So, you know, I am, and most of the news world is talking about kind of the bigger glamorous events of COP, but like COP is literally a negotiation between all the world countries, like all the countries, to, mostly the Paris Climate Agreement countries, which are most of the countries in the world, to come together to talk about, like, to actually come up with a plan. So there's negotiators that are coming up with the monetary, like, having these back and forth monetary conversations. So, like, that's what's really happening at COP. It's just I obviously am talking about, like, the events that the royals are attending, which are not those, like, day-to-day negotiations. Obviously, for Charles, this is, like, literally the culmination of 50 years of work at this point. And so he is interested in how things are going, so that's why he held this reception. Also, like, these people have some of the hardest jobs over the next couple of weeks of COP, so props to them. So I think that's the end of events. Right now, for those for those who are curious, we're in, like, a kind of weird week. These happen a couple times a year, twice. So Europe typically ends daylight savings a week before the US does. So currently, right now, England is 4 hours ahead and everywhere else is 5 hours ahead. So typically that's 5 and 6. So things are very possibly, like, evening things are still very possibly happening when I'm writing my outline. Right now, this week, I've been writing it later, simply because I know this. But, like, even so, I had finished my outline. I was literally, like, finishing it up, went and checked social media, saw I had a Twitter notification, and saw that it was Clarence House posting. And that was at, like, 10 p.m. UK time. So it's just a weird week. This will all be resolved. The US does their ending of daylight savings, I think, on Sunday. I hope, because this is going to be really hard next week, which is what I'm considering the biggest state visit week. So I'm really hoping daylight savings is at least a little figured out by then. So yeah, so that is what was going on today for Prince Charles. Now, also today, the Duchess of Cornwall, I think, is back in London, and she took part in a couple of different events. I'm really upset. So far, they have not shared where these were. So that's going to be on the court circular, but the court circular doesn't come out for 2 more hours. So I'm not waiting that long. That would be like 8:30. And not that I need to be I'm certainly not in bed or anything, but, like, I'm typically posting on socials by that time, which I do after I record. So this week is just a weird week. Next week will hopefully not be as weird. But first, she visited the production of the ITV show called Grace, which is a series adapted from the Roy Grace book series, written by a British author called, I think his name is James Arthur, potentially. Forgot to write that part down. But it was the Roy Grace series, or one of the books, was a recommendation for the Duchess of Cornwall's Reading Room, which is Camilla's book club that she launched last year, and has been taking part in, like, some various non-official events regarding that, because it's been the year anniversary. So she visited the series of the shooting location for that. And then later in the day, she visited St. Wilfrid's Hospice to mark the organization's 40th anniversary. So during her visit, she was able to talk with staff, but she also learned about their program, Project Seahorse, which provides bereavement services for young people and children who are going through grief. And then she also planted a commemorative tree as part of the Queen's Green Canopy, but also, again, to mark that 40th anniversary of the hospice. So that is what the British royal family was up to. And so with that, we are going to move over now to the Danish royal family. Denmark. In Denmark today, there was one event, and I was very hesitant to even talk about this because there is, thus far, no communication from the Danish royal family that this event took place. It's on the calendar, so, like, there's that, but there's no post about it on the website. There's no social media posts. There's no no social media. Sometimes they'll put, like, something on Instagram and forget to put it on Facebook or something, but, like, nothing. I checked all the places. It'll probably go up in the morning, but, and maybe nothing. I'm not sure. I don't know. But anyway, today Crown Prince Frederik attended a symposium hosted by the Fulbright Center of Denmark. So that is a offshoot, essentially, of the Fulbright program, which is a scholarship program, diplomacy, like very foreign relation-y thing that is hosted in the U.S., like its primary is in the U.S. It's named for, I think, a former U.S. congressman or senator whose last name was Fulbright, but it basically goes... there are Fulbright scholars around the world, and then there are programs, Fulbright programs, in a lot of different countries. So today, the Danish Fulbright Center is celebrating, this year marks their 70th anniversary, and it's also the 75th anniversary of the Fulbright program in general. So they hosted this event called From Soft Diplomacy to Science Diplomacy, which is really about, like, this insane transition that we're going through, where we obviously prefer diplomatic relations over, like, defense relations, obviously. At least 99% of the world does. But then right now we're going through this transition that is really, like, diplomacy focused on, like, there is an offshoot of diplomacy right now that is very science-based and, like, sustainable energy and green conversations, versus the traditional, like, backdoor kind of diplomacy. So I think that's really interesting. I have not watched this symposium. I started to, and I said, I can't do this because I will so nerd out, and, like, that is not what we need to be doing right now. So the event included speakers from the Charge d'Affaires, who is basically right now the acting, I mean, that is not his title, but he is right now the lead diplomat from the U.S. in Denmark, because either we haven't named an ambassador to Denmark, or if we have named them, they haven't begun or been Senate confirmed yet, which I think is going to be an ongoing problem. I don't know. I'm just going to find out really quickly if any of our ambassadors have been confirmed yet. So ambassador to Denmark from U.S. So that's the Charge d'Affaires. So let's find out if someone has been even named yet. Yep, nope, we have not had a new named ambassador yet. Gonna check one more thing. Joe Biden, ambassador nominations. Oh, we did just have an ambassador to Jamaica announced. Okay, that's exciting. Okay, so we are getting some confirmations. Like one was just actually, oh, that's exciting. One was confirmed a couple days ago, the ambassador to Canada. The ambassador to Mexico. Let's see here. Okay, let's go to Europe. The ambassador to Austria has been named. Yeah, no one else has really been confirmed in, yeah, nope. No one else has been confirmed. So that's going on right now. Just, there aren't a lot of green boxes on here, which means confirmed. So there's that. Oh, someone was confirmed yesterday, but that's the ambassador to Israel. So, you know, anyway, the Charday affair is the lead diplomat right now. Okay. Sorry, my dog just, like, stepped on something, and I don't really remember where it was. So, anyway, so that is what Frederik was up to. Literally, there are no pictures of this. Like, I watched the live stream for 30 seconds to make sure he did, in fact, attend, and that's the extent of it. So, that is what was going on in Denmark. So, now we are going to move over to Norway. Norway. In Norway today, King Harald, Queen Sonja, and Crown Prince Haakon took part in events for the German president, who is on an official visit to Norway. At the moment, this is not a state visit, but it is an official visit focused on a few things after COP and after the G20. Although I'm not sure if he was at G20 or COP, actually, because Angela Merkel did all that. I don't know. I have questions. But anyway, today he and his wife, First Lady Elke Budenbender, are in Norway. They will also be there tomorrow, but he is taking part in events with the Norwegian Prime Minister a lot tomorrow. But today he had a few events with the royal family. So first, he and his wife and Crown Prince Haakon visited the naval ship FGS Berlin. So I don't know if this is like what he traveled on or if it's just like docked right now. I'm very confused by it. The description of the event was not super helpful on this. But like they met outside of it, so I don't really know. But there was a conversation about Norwegian and German cooperation, military cooperation, naval cooperation, etc., with the commanders and stuff on the ship. So I do think this is still like an active member of the fleet, but I don't really know. So that was the first event, and then later on, King Harald, Queen Sonja, and Crown Prince Haakon held a meeting and also offered lunch for the president and first lady. So this is like this is like the third or fourth time I feel like I've really talked about the German president. And I still don't really understand. I think he is like, I think their system is very similar to like Portugal's and Italy's, where like there's a prime minister and a president. The president, and in this case in Germany, it would be Chancellor Merkel, is the head of state, I think. And then the president serves as like the prime minister or president of the government. So, like, this is how a lot of monarchies are, and really most of the world runs like this, where the head of state is, see, but then I don't know, because Germany's kind of like in a world of its own, in that Chancellor Merkel has a huge role, had a huge role, I still don't know, when she's leaving office, if she's still in office. I don't know. I saw an emotional moment with Emmanuel Macron yesterday between them, and it literally made me cry, because those two held the world together for 4 years, which was great of them. And, I don't really understand. Someday I might dive into, like, understanding Germany and what is going on. And maybe I'll do it before next week, when the Danish royals visit Germany on a state visit. Okay, goal. I will have an understanding of the German government system by then, because I don't know what's going on. Okay, so that is what was going on today in Norway. So now we are going to go ahead and move over to the Spanish royal family. Spain. We are ending our episode again today with the Spanish royal family. So there were a few events, lots going on today. So first, King Felipe held a meeting with the president of Ecuador, President Lasso, who is on an official visit to Spain, and also like a larger part of the European tour. So he was at COP26, and now he is making like an inaugural visit to Europe. So he was inaugurated in May. King Felipe actually attended that inauguration, as he does for most Ibero-American presidents. It's pretty normal for him to be at presidential transitions of these countries. So they held a meeting today. Obviously, the president is going to like meet with other officials as well. But again, just like the customary meeting with King Felipe. Then he traveled to Cordoba to close the Spanish Confederation of Directors and Executives Conference, which is a few-day conference focused on Spanish companies and different topics relating to that. So growth, employment, like employability, so basically raising the unemployment rate in Spain, and how to do that, and then management responsibility. So it's basically just like a bunch of the big leaders in business come together to talk about like what they can do better, what challenges they're facing, what's going really well, all of that. So that was the second part of his day. Meanwhile, Queen Letizia was on the last day of her cooperation visit to Paraguay. So she took on several events, but I want to talk about something really quickly. So I mentioned yesterday that like it's seeming like people in Paraguay were a little offended that she wasn't like dressing up for things. And I even said like, oh, it's an evening reception, like maybe you should be wearing a dress, like even casual, that's fine, you own plenty. But then today I read a quote from a political person in Paraguay that said that they deserved to see her in a dress. And I just want to say, like, I think there were a few times, yeah, she definitely should have not been in the red vest. For sure. For example, today she had lunch with the president. Maybe not a time to wear the red vest. I understand there wasn't like a lot of time to change between, but like, just take the red vest off. I don't know. Something. Not that hard, at least is my thinking. But apparently I was wrong. But, first of all, a country does not deserve anything. You're getting a visit from the Queen of Spain. Like, you're not entitled to anything from that. I know I certainly would not feel like I deserved to see her in a dress if she visited my country. I live in the US. I'm gonna see her in a dress if she visits my country, but I don't feel like I'm entitled to it because I don't own her. Like, I don't know. I was very put off by this. Like, also, I remember when she traveled to Mozambique for a cooperation visit, wore a new dress to have lunch with the president, and got crap. Like, can we stop having these double standards for women? Like, you would give her crap if she dressed up in an expensive dress and she's visiting a poor country. And you give her crap if she doesn't wear a dress. What do you want? You don't want either. Nope, don't like it. I also disagree with her not wearing a dress. Like, but I don't feel like she should have done it because they deserved it. It was just like, seemed a really strange place to not wear a dress or even dress up. I don't need her to wear a literal dress, but like dress pants. Take off the jacket and the boots and change into flats. Like, I don't know. Something. I don't know. Like, I'm very torn. I want to see it because I want to see it. I don't think I deserve to see it, but I don't know. It's very confusing. And, like, we do this to all royal women, but, like, for some reason, this one just seems to be, like, rubbing me the wrong way. I think it's because that politician, the female politician, by the way, said she deserved to see her in a dress when she visited their country. No, you do not. You do not deserve anything. Okay. Feminist rant over. Women don't owe anybody anything. We're people. Okay. All right. So today she had a very busy schedule again, as these cooperation visits are like marathon events. So she visited the Banhado Sur Family Center, which actually is a dedicated center to the prevention and care for women and girls who are victims of sexual violence and human trafficking, for sexual trafficking. And so she was able to learn about the work that they do. She was able to talk to women who use the services of this center, victims, and learn about their experience and like how the center has helped them. She took part in like a meeting about the work. So that was the first event, and then she also later on visited the Spanish Cultural Center, which is part of a network of cultural centers that are run by the Spanish Association for Cooperation and Development, that they're very cool in that they introduce people to Spanish culture, and then also serve as like a central location, in this case in Asunción, which is the capital of Paraguay. So it's like, we can meet at the Spanish Cultural Center and do this. So it's like a very cool, just center that holds a lot of different functions. So I thought that was really awesome. And then her last official visit was to, the Entrepreneur Training Center, which is run by the Ministry of Labor in the country. So this is a place for entrepreneurs to hone their skills and develop. And then to end that day, she had the lunch at the presidential residence with the president and first lady of Paraguay. I should also mention that for most of this trip, she was accompanied by the first lady of Paraguay, which is kind of normal for these cooperation visits. She did a cooperation visit to Haiti in 2018, possibly, and was accompanied there. And I think the one she did in Honduras, she also was accompanied by the First Lady of Honduras as well. That one was last December. So, and then I've seen one picture of her leaving, so she is officially on her way back to Spain. I doubt she's back already, because she departed around 4, and that's only been a few hours, and it takes a while to get to Spain. But that is what was going on. So she has no more events this week. King Felipe does have a few events tomorrow, though. So with that, I am going to end this episode. I will talk to you all on Monday. Have a fantastic weekend. Please check out all the things, thedailyroyal.com, The Daily Royal on Instagram, shop The Daily Royal on Etsy, and I will talk to you all on Monday. Bye.